Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Data Sim live stream. Today it's the 10th of July 2023, 3 minutes past 4 in the afternoon here in the United Kingdom. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and boy oh boy, I've got a really exciting stream for you today. Just Flight have sent me over their Fokker, first ever time flying a Fokker, the F28, their bizjet built in the 60s, first flew in I think 67 or 69. No longer really flying much around the world these days. I think there's a few obscure operators there, but this is a proper old school aircraft. Got some old Rolls-Royce Spey engines here. I don't know if anyone here has flown on an F28 before. I don't think I have, but we're in Stansted. We're going to be flying to Derry in Northern Ireland for the first ever time. The reason we're here is because we're in an Air UK livery. It's an airline I flew on very young as a kid, and I really wanted to fly it today. And Stansted was their base, I think, just before they were purchased. I think it was by KLM UK. But yeah, been very excited to fly this one. I've actually had the aircraft for a few days, but I'm not really a big fan of sort of streaming an aircraft sort of without having ever looked at it before. So I've done a couple of test flights. I did the tutorial flight that's included with the aircraft. I've done 2 of these test sectors. I've had really, really good results. There's been a few bugs, which Just Flight have literally sent me a patched version about 45 minutes before this stream to fix those issues. Some of you watching me on Discord fly the aircraft this morning, we had a bit of a runaway stabiliser issue with a rate of descent of about 15,000 feet per minute, but we're going to be flying conventional navigation today. We're offline off the VATSIM network. I will take it on VATSIM perhaps next sector, and we're going to be flying hopefully a DME ARC. I'm having a few issues with the aircraft being able to pick up an NDB with the ADF, but again, that's a known issue. We'll see how we get on today, otherwise we'll need to self-position later on. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft. WOC, this is zoom on to that cute little Fokker. Yes, we shall. Hello, Nick K. Hope you're doing well. Stephen Powell, thanks for the 7 months. Hey, Captain. Hope you like the photo of the alpacas. Keep up the good work. Yes, I remember you. Is it on Instagram you sent me the message, or Discord? I can't remember, but I remember seeing all the different coloured alpacas there in the shed. Thank you very much for sharing that picture. Peter Green, yep, you flew one in 2010 to Amsterdam. Very, very cool. I mean, I think KLM have got rid of all of their new Fokkers now, haven't they? Like the Fokker 70 and 100 as well. But yeah, we've got the Hush kit on as well, as you can see here on the rear of this is it gas jet engine? I'm not sure how these exactly work, but there is the Hush kit. Doesn't do a very good job of hushing it up. It's an extremely loud aircraft, but the sounds, the looks, the textures, the modelling on this is incredible. There's a manual which is how many pages long here? Just to show you here, I'm following this as well during this setup. Look, just like 253 page manual included with this aircraft, going over all the different systems in depth, in detail. You have a tutorial flight included, which you can load up in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I've completed. You've got normal procedures, supplementary procedures, guidance on to how to fly multiple different approaches. It goes in so much detail. You've got all these tables and charts to refer to as well. So yeah, you've got essentially a full pilot's operating handbook, but also with lots of pictures to show you how to distinguish all these pieces. I mean, we'll go through the setup in detail as well whilst I'm going through it and show you some of the things I spotted whilst doing this setup a few times, preparing for this stream. Anyway, that's the one we're doing. I'll start from there as well. So yeah, this is the Build Standard scenery as well. We're on Apron Zulu, I think it is. We'll be expecting runway 22. Yes, the weather here very windy down the runway in Derry. Not too bad with winds, but there's currently a thunderstorm over the airport, so we'll have to see how that develops in Microsoft Flight Simulator when I always fly live time, live weather. David Stew says, sweet, good to see proper manuals included. I know, there's not a huge amount of devs that go into a huge amount of detail with their manuals. I think ones that do INI builds do a really good manual with their aircraft. Obviously, Just Flight do excellent manuals with all their aircraft. But I think like the ATR, when that was released by Microsoft Flight Simulator, there was no manual at all. So it just sort of had to work our way around it. So it's so important that I think devs make a detailed manual, and Just Flight have made, well, obviously spent a lot of time making this manual for you to use today. Anyway, we'll just go around the exterior model first. So let me just reset my drone cam so it's a sensible speed. I'll sort of make sure I'm in the simulator here. There we go. So we've got the T-tail design here. The aircraft has no trailing edge devices as well, no reversers, so it's very reliant on a huge speed brake at the rear of the aircraft and lifter dumpers after landing. I love this livery as well, the old Air UK. It was Air Anglia beforehand, but look, the air stairs are all modelled, the sounds are great. You can see, look, the commands here to operate, I think, the door, amazing. We've got lovely gear modelling here. The gear retraction and extension is incredibly slow on this aircraft. You can't drop the gear really at 3 miles. You'll be touching down by the time it's actually low, but you can see here huge flap fairings here as well. There's the Rolls-Royce Spey engines. The speed brake modelling is really cool. Hopefully have an Alpaca Airways livery in time. There's the APU exhaust valve, the cargo doors I've opened up prior to the start of this stream, but you can see the detail, as always, with high detailed aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Absolutely wonderful. The cabin's very well modelled as well. You can see the HF wires there too. Anyway, let's jump on into the cockpit. We'll have a look around the cabin as well. I won't use the drone cam for that though, because I think it uses a little bit of detail. But there we are. Here we are in the cockpit straight away, and you can see it looks very 60s era aircraft. In fact, not too dissimilar to the Apollo rockets, I don't think, in here. It took a long time to sort of get used to this cockpit as well. I still am getting used to it, but I can find what I'm looking for. On the MCP, you've got the commands for the autopilot, but the autopilot engagement sequence is down on the pedestal. Nav aids are here. You've got your standard 6 primary instruments. You've got loads of instrumentation here, annunciator panel there as well. Let me just reset the camera. Look at it all here. Hydraulic controls, pressure system, weather radar, engine instrumentation's all here, fuel quantity. The thrust levers, look at this. You've got 2 sets of thrust levers, one for the captain and one for the first officer. No auto throttle. Radio's all down here as well. The hydraulic controls too. So it's a bit of a everything's everywhere a little bit here. Yes, someone noticed the stew call as in beef stew. No, that's for stewardess Domino Musina, but when I first saw it, I did think stew. But yeah, the cabin's really nicely modelled. You've got boarding music. After we landed on the test sectors, you can hear this sort of music playing as you land here. But yeah, you can see the configuration's a bit unusual. 3x2. But yeah, great sound. You'll hear it all when we get the aircraft up and running, really detailed. And you can see here you've got the position of all the flaps. Look, on the trailing edge, 6, 11, 18, 25, 42 degrees. Incredibly slow approach speed in this aircraft as well. A bit of a short takeoff and landing aircraft there. And this would be a very noisy place to sit there. Anyway, let's jump back into the cockpit and have a look at some other questions and points here. Hopefully Just Flight will pop in and answer any questions as well. It is available, I think, to purchase from Wednesday. And the information about the product in the video description below. Very intimate cockpit. Yes, it is a little. Nick K, they gave the apprentice a box full of instruments and said, see if you can find somewhere to put them, will you? I'm off for a coffee. Yeah, so one of my members, Arjen, who's actually a pilot flying the 737, he was telling me he flew with some guys who used to fly this aircraft. I won't repeat on stream what they thought of it, but I think it takes some getting used to. It's got some unique handling characteristics. Now, one of the things I read in the notes as well, on approach, it says, on approach, it's preferred to use speed brake over reducing power, and it says it's advisable to or try not to reduce power below 80% or 80% RPM HP. I think that might be for either pressurization or bleed air, or to ensure you have sufficient engine anti-ice, or maybe for the go-around, I don't know. But it's very unnatural for me, trying to be as efficient as possible in the NG in real life, to use speed brake with thrust on, but we'll try to do that as much as possible. Is this the Mark 4000? Yes, this is the Mark 4000. If you were to get to this aircraft on release, you get 4 variants of the Fokker F28. It's the 1000, 2000, 3000, and this is the longest version, the 4000. You get every single one. There's a whole host of liveries available. Just like always make loads of liveries and variants available with their aircraft, which is pretty cool. Rotafib, so you don't have to hold hands with the FO. They were progressive back then. Brilliant. David Students, this is too much for a lazy single pilot like myself. Need more information like the F28 F100. Let's hope Just Flight make that aircraft for those wanting a little bit more of a modern experience. Again, taking this on VATSIM, it's no RNAV here. There's no INS. It's all conventional navigation. So you'll have to, stitch your own routing, which in fact is what I've done today. If I bring up Navigraph here, there's the chance we're going to do later. We're going to do a conventional SID, the Otava 1 Romeo, flying outbound. We'll intercept this airway from the Biggin VOR, from Buzzard, and it's to Trent. From Trent, we're going to fly just to the south of Manchester towards Liverpool. There's the Wallasey VOR, right over the Isle of Man, right over Belfast, and right into Derry, where I'll attempt to do the, from Belfast VOR to this point here, the DME ARC, but the the ADF's a bit bugged at the moment. I spoke to Scott from Just Flight this morning. He said they've known a bug. They knows a bit of a bug with the ADF. The challenge is the ADF down here. You've got to tune manually, look, and it's really old school, look. So the only way to tune it is to get that frequency exactly on 3285, which is incredibly difficult, and there's no leeway. You've got to do it exactly on it. The good news is I have the radio tuning panel, so it does actually show you exactly what's tuned, but it doesn't always pick up the NDB. So we'll have to see how we get on today. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. I'll turn up the simulator slightly, and we'll get some electrical power onto the aircraft. So the first thing I need to do is we check the battery condition. So we'll move this switch to... I can hear how windy it is outside. What I'm just going to do, guys, is close the doors, because it's so windy here in Stansted, you can hear the wind. So let's imagine everyone's on board. I've already imported that. So we're just going to close this. The sounds are great. Sounds like a Hoover. A reassuring clunk. Oh, it still sounds very windy. Let me just close everything, and maybe that will help with the sounds. There you go. It seems to now be a lot quieter in the cockpit. Excellent. So yeah, we check the battery condition. We've got battery 1. You just got to make sure it's over 23 volts. We've got 25 volts. We'll check battery 2. We've got 25 volts available. On the electrical panel, we'll set the battery switch to on. I love this. Listen to this. You can hear it all powering up. You can hear all the gyros spinning up behind the panel too. I'll crank up the volume now, it's a little less windy. So we've got some battery power connected to the aircraft. I'm going to be following the tutorial here, which is to actually start the APU and not use ground power. Now, prior to starting the APU, we need to check the AP fire extinguisher. You want to know how long it took me to find all of these switches. Make sure the extinguisher test comes on as well. Now, they've fixed that already, because when I tested that on the previous build, I didn't get the bell sounding, which is pretty good. We'll reset that. Now, this is the sort of modelling length Just Flight go to. If we come up here, move up the APU panel on the overhead panel, select the APU main switch to on. Now, what this does, if I look outside here, it opens, can you see it there? Look, it opens the APU inlet valve, and you've got to wait 10 seconds after moving that switch. And there's also audio associated with that. I mean, this is the sort of detail I like on my add-on. So just to show you, look, I'm going to move drone cam here. I'm going to move that switch for you one more time. So let me just move this to off. Listen. It's good, isn't it? I've no doubt it's probably the exact same sound. So there we go. We'll move it to main. Thanks for subscribing there, Dean Gianotti. Welcome on board. Pouring water. Could you depart with unbalanced fuel and balance fuel en route? I think that would be interesting. Yes, I've not done that before. Perhaps in the future we'll look into doing that. Not on the inaugural sector. So yes, that's all done. We'll then confirm the Gen 3 inoperative light is illuminated. Moving across the air conditioning panel. We want to make sure the APU air switch is off, and we make sure one of these switches are on as well. I don't think it really matters which one. That ensures that we get some pressurization once the APU can be started. So to start the APU, I'll hold down start. There we go. You can see it spooling up. RPM, TGT. There we are. See the look at the size of the exhaust as well, the APU as well. There we go, great sounds. They always spool up quite quickly, these smaller APUs. So that's done. Monitor APU, confirm TGT and RPM rises. When APU RPM is above 95%, we can set the generator 3 to on. There we are. We now have external power connected. Well, APU power connected, and the battery will no longer be discharging. Now, there's no sim brief profile available yet for the Fokker F28. Just Flight are making one, so it will be available for you. I have used a sim brief profile for the newer Fokker F70. You can see here we need 3.8 tons. I'm just going to go full wings for this sector. Full wings in the Fokker F28 is 6.4 tons. We'll imagine we're tankering, and we've got a full load of passengers, 85. It still keeps us below our max landing weight by the time we land, just about. So that's what we've done for this sector. We'll now move up here onto the overhead panel and we'll put the APU air on. You can see it all moving, look. We've now got conditioned air coming into the cabin. There's the increase in the PSI. So everyone in the cabin is going to be comfortable with the temperature. Are those hush kits? Yes, Stratocast, what you saw were the hush kits on the back of the Rolls-Royce Spey engines here, which somehow lowered the noise, even though I don't think by today's standards it was very quiet. That's done. Radio master goes to on. We can now do our pre-flight checks. So electrical power, we confirm the generators are on. It's actually quite Airbusy. When you start it up, it automatically turns the generators on. It's quite nice. Confirm the TRU units are on. So these are transformer rectifier units. So these will be converting AC to DC. Confirm the battery mechanical indicators showing in line, which it is. The external power is not connected. Emergency exit lights will now arm. On the engine panel, confirm the starter master switch is set to off, which is up here. It is. It's off. Bleed air supply switch, set both high pressure switches to auto and set the main switch to on. So it's already in auto. I've never seen on any aircraft a three-way switch position. It's really cool, but we'll leave the temperature to auto. Now this button here, authority, if you leave it in stew, it allows the cabin crew to control the temperature of the cabin, and in cockpit we can then control the cabin temperature as well. So it's already better than the 737 NG in that respect. Cabin crew, instead of calling us, can actually control the cabin themselves. Antage, is this coming to Xbox? I believe it is. I think it will be available for you in Xbox eventually. Do Fokker pilots say I'm going to fly the Fokker plane when it's their turn to be pilot in command? Probably. Bloodline says stew temperature should be low and slow. Very good. APU bleed air supplies on. Set the main switches both to on. That's under where it says engines. Just want to make sure I've done that right. Start valve. Yes, these are both in the normal position. Bleed air supply is set. Both temperature selectors are set to auto. I think we leave that bleed air supply switch in the off position. We only have one on at this present time. Set the authority switch to steward, which we've done. On the airflow icing panel, set both main switches to off and then reset, and off and reset it's already set. On engine anti-ice, set it to off. This actually has automatic engine anti-icing. You leave that in auto, and I think when ice detector works, it automatically turns on, or I think you just move the switches to on. Anyway, we'll test that ice detection system. That stays illuminated for 1 minute, and also on the pedestal, below the glare shield, look, you've got an ice detect light as well, which illuminates when obviously ice is detected. Set the window heating priority switch to low. If the temperature is below 20 degrees, we'll turn on the fasten seatbelt and no smoking signs. On the glare shield, ensure that all 3 fire control guards are closed, which are here. This indicates open. This is the fuel shut-off valve. Push the reset switch, but they're already open. Test the ground proximity. Button on the glare shield to confirm audible GPS warmers can be heard.
Wide slope. Pull up. Wide slope.
Perfect, that's working. Check the captain's annunciator panel. Test. They're all illuminated. Bright and dim as required. We'll leave it on bright. Nose wheel steering set to on. That little switch is behind here. It's already on. White floodlight we don't need illuminated. Moving down the hydraulic power selection of the secondary instrument panel, confirm the flight control and 4 pump lights are illuminated. So we've got 4 pump lights illuminated and they're in the normal position. On the fuel panel light, verify we have fuel low pressure lights on illuminated for the fuel pumps containing for the fuel tanks containing fuel. Yes, they are, and the pumps are off, and we leave them off at this stage. Engine fire warning test next. more bell sounds. Left and right, we've already done the APU. This is the vibration test, and here's the vibration gauges for the engines. You'll see those will increase. That's completed. Check the fuel quantity. So we've got full wings, 3.2 apparently, even though it shows a higher amount. Maybe I can get more fuel in the tanks, but we've got 3.2 outside, no fuel in the centre tank. You can test the gauge. Oh, it's not working actually. Well, we don't have any fuel there. Moving further to the pedestal, ensure the lift dumper handle on the captain's throttle is down. So these are the lift dumpers. You move that up, they won't come up because we've got no hydraulics powered. So they're on the wings. And then this hunking great big lever is for the speed brake, which is located in the rear of the aircraft. Again, these won't operate because I have no hydraulic power connected to the aircraft. So it's very mechanical, very 60s. Short crossfeed is off. We'll now check the fuel pumps, but we turn them back off. We just want to make sure the lights extinguish. They do. Back off. ATC set to standby on the transponder. Standby, we're offline today. And weather radar, it's not modelled yet, unfortunately, Microsoft Flight Simulator, but we'll move it to standby anyway. And verify the hydraulic switches are on, although they'll be off because we have no electric hydraulic or engine-driven hydraulics on at the moment. So all the lights are illuminated, it's on, but that is normal. Verify that the gust lock is on, which it is. And check the passenger oxygen switch on Jim's side, which is down here. Make sure that's guarded. Excellent, so we've sort of done the initial safety inspection checklist. Next is the sort of before engine start flow. Razin, dear Lord, there's so many switches, I know, there's an awful lot. What's the gust lock, mere child? Well, in this and how it works in this aircraft exactly, I don't know, but it'll prevent the controls moving in strong winds or gusty conditions. Make sure you turn that off prior to takeoff. Manu, that does sound like a telephone ring, it does. What else have we got here? Manu says, when will it be ready? When the Fokker alpacas fly? Oh wait, hopefully come out on Wednesday for you. Matthew, classic question, how can you make the cabin hotter in the middle only? Impossible. Maybe just get like a giant fan, like a Japanese style fan, and just fan it around. That's the only way to get the temperature mixed. Right, before engine start, ensure all AC and DC buses remain energised. The APU air bleed pressure is reading in the green band. So here's the APU air pressure. We've got 40 psi. Check the brake pressure indicator on the secondary instruments. It's reading higher than 1800 psi. So here's the brake pressure. It's a little bit low on this side and on the alternate brake. So what you do, you turn on the System 1 hydraulic pumps, and that will pressurise the brake system for you. I think once you've got 3000 psi you can turn it off, but we'll just let the System 1 hydraulic system pressurise. And then it says turn it back off as well. So that will now decrease, and we have maintained hydraulic pressure. Doesn't the Airbus do that? It's on the A340 or something. You have used the blue hydraulic system to prime the accumulator pressure or something. I can't remember. That's done anyway. Parking brake is here. It's massive blue lever. Confirm that's set. Look, you see the cable that's obviously connected to the parking brake. It's so mechanical. Anyway, it's pulled out, which is set. Right, pressurisation now, it says. It's a bit all over the place, this. And remember, I'm following the official tutorial guidance here in the background. I'd recommend doing that whenever you first fly this aircraft. It's yellow on the 320, thank you, Matthew. Is it the same on the BAE 146 for brakes? I don't remember having to pressurise that system there. Sitchin, will the add-on be available for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 without extra charge? No, this is a high-fidelity, high-quality add-on. You know, that Just Flight are a business, they need money. So it'll all be available for, I think it's 50, I know, I made a note of all the prices somewhere. I've lost it. There it is. It'll be 52.49, 65 euros, or $69.99. And before you start complaining about that, this is a high quality add-on, like all of the payware add-ons where you get great things here. I see a number of people commenting on not just my videos but other people's videos complaining that it should be free. This has taken, my lift dumpers are up. This has taken someone years of development, or a team of people years of development to fix it. Why are my lift dumpers up? I don't like how they're up. Maybe I need to just put the hydraulics back on here. I don't like how my lift dumpers are staying up, even though, according to this, they're fully stowed. Let me just turn on all the hydraulic pumps. Ah, there we go. Excellent. Let's now do the pressurization control panel. So we're going to be cruising at 28,000 feet. What you need to do is set the cabin altitude to 1,000 feet higher than your cruise altitude. So here we're cruising at 28,000 feet, so we'll set this to 29,000 feet. That sets the pressurization schedule for you. So I think that's going to give you a diff pressure. I guess. Well, no. What's the needle going to actually replicate here? 5,500 feet, maybe on the cabin altitude. Yeah, I should think it's that. Yeah, 5,500. And then ensure the barrow pressure is set to 1013. I think we just have to set whatever it is here in Stansted right now, which is 1018. So 1018, and that's the pressurization sorted. I had some issues with this, and Just Flight are aware of it, where it was sort of the PSI was stuck at what, 1 PSI I think, or something, or the cabin altitude was at 1,000 feet, but on the last sector I did it was working fine. So the pressurization system set. I've tuned the nav aids we need for our departure. The VOR, the HSI is all set as well. We'll brief that shortly. The nav aids are tuned. We're going to be using nav 1 for departure initially. So what's great about this, if you switch it to nav 2, the autopilot will follow nav 2, so you don't have to switch nav aids or go to heading select on every single one. We're only following VORs for departure, so we'll make sure that's selected to VOR, and we'll select this to VOR as well, which is over here. There we go. I want to make sure DME's on, otherwise we'll have no DME information. So DME and DME, excellent. For performance then, so Just Flight, if you're familiar with their aircraft, they have an interactive placard which changes based off your actual gross weight. So we're going to be doing a flap 18 takeoff. The beauty of this is if I select the speed, flap 11, watch the bug speeds here. Or he says, there we are, flap 11, I think they were already set. So now we have the flap 11 speed. So V1 and VR is always the same in this aircraft because it's so much slower. So V1 and VR is going to be 132, V2 is 137. The initial climb out speed is V2 plus 10, so we'll aim to fly 150, and then it's flap traction. As soon as you're at 150 knots, you just select flaps up. The engine conks out, add 10 knots, fly 159. Flap placard speeds are in the manual. They're basically 6 to 25 degrees, 200 knots, and then flap 42, 165 knots. So you've got to make sure you slow this aircraft down before extending flaps. I think clean speed's about 180. Stop altitude on the SID's going to be 4,000 feet, which is set. And then the trim for set for departure is really useful. You just simply press the 25.6, watch the trim wheel. That looks like it's off an airplane wheel off a World War I airplane. Maybe the original Fokker. But it's now trim set for departure. Right, ready for engine start. So what we'll do, we'll just brief what we're going to do. It's going to be a really, really busy SID here. Hello, Just Fly. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if that's you, Scott, behind there, but whoever it is, hope you're doing well. I've answered this, yes, but we'd hope that will be in the case, but can't 100% guarantee this at this time. I think about the F27, someone was asking. But yes, Just Flight's here. If you have any questions about the aircraft, I'm sure they'll be able to answer what they can. Thank you very much, whoever that is behind the Just Flight account, for helping me run this amazing airplane. Right, so we're ready for engine start. So I'm just going to brief what we are going to do. So I'm going to hand fly this SID. We are on Apron Zulu. We're going to push back, face sort of the direction we're facing. Just going to do a straight back, push back, keep it simple. Right turn on Juliet. We'll then take a left on Papa. Right on Papa. We'll go full length fire Romeo for departure, runway 22. And this SID is conventional, so we don't have to worry about RNAV and LNAV. We don't have such a thing on this aircraft. So what we're going to do is fly this conventionally. So you'll see here we'll climb straight ahead off the ILS until we're at 3.1 DME, which is off the 157 radial from Barkway. So let me just go down here and select distance. Why have I not got the ILS tuned? 1105, I do. Why have I not got any DME information? Oh, I do. I think that's for DME 2. That's DME 2. DME 1 is here, look, 0.6. So 3.1 right turn, Barkway, 350 inbound. So you'll see on the second nav aid, what I'll do now is set 350, and the Barkway VOR is active, 11625. I'm going to climb and maintain 4,000 feet. So I'm going to hand fly this departure, 3.1 right turn, level off at 4,000 feet, which is the stop altitude. And then I'll get the automation inbound to Barkway to lower my workload. Once we get to Barkway, left turn outbound 263 to Otava, and we'll eventually climb up higher. It's a very low stop altitude here at a Stansted. And we'll fly outbound off the 263, we'll pass Otava, keep flying outbound on that VOR until we intercept the Tango 420 airway. That's based off the Biggin Hill VOR 15-1, so we'll get that tuned up, and I'm going to fly outbound 15-1 all the way to, I think it was Trent outbound to Wallasey to the Isle of Man, from the Isle of Man to Belfast, and then Belfast 308 is actually the inbound course. Look here, 308 for the DME ARC. So it's a really nice routing today to fly conventionally. So that's it. We'll get the engine started. Yoke cam, yes, we'll use yoke cam today for departure. We've got loads of performance here as well. Peter Green, please, they included GNS 430 as many areas don't have VO anymore, especially stateside. Yes, if you're not feeling like you want to fly conventionally, sometimes you just can't, because not many airports have conventional navigation now. You can have the default GNS 430 option here. It's in the settings here, so if you go here to settings, look, GPS navigation, there you go, look, you've got your GPS available, which we are not using such a thing today. That's for wusses. No, I'm joking. There we are. So let's get the engines started. So we'll get the anti-collision light on, top, bottom, and the nav lights on. It should be on already. We'll turn on the fuel pumps. Fuel pumps are on. Verify the thrust levers are idle, and the fuel cut-off switches here are in the off position. And then to simply start the engines, we will move the starter master on and hold this in 2. And it's quite an interesting experience starting these engines. You move it to 2, it does its thing, it turns off the packs for you automatically, starts up the engines. The engine starts spooling up. When you get to 15 to 20% RPM here, you move the start lever to the start position, then monitor the spool up, and when you get to 47 to 53% HP, or a TGT of, I think it's 400, you move the switch further to the open position. Right, can we have a clear prop in chat? Eye tracker, I might use the eye tracker. The problem is though, because the instruments on this aircraft are so small, it's quite hard to sort of see everything there. I'll see how I get on. I have got it all set up ready to go if I do decide to use it, but I sometimes find it easier when hand flying. I've pre-assigned, you see, a button here, so I can actually see my instruments a lot easier. So we'll go from there. Right, let's start engine number 2. It packs off automatically. Even the 737 doesn't do that. I know. Right, starting engine number 2. There we go. There we are. So you can see, look, it's tripped that pack. We can actually move that switch to the off position. So we have the RPM increasing. Oh yes, I forgot to set the thrust here off the tables. We'll do that next when I get the engine started. So 15-20%, we'll move this to start. You'll hear the fuel coming in, wait for it. There you go. Poof. Still got all the chocks in place, so I'll have to get those removed. Classic rotary beacon that you get on these sort of era aircraft. Anyway, I should be monitoring this here. 400 degrees, we can now move that to the open position. There you go, that was the IDG coming online. Engine hydraulic pressure's increasing. Excellent. Starting engine number 1. There we go. Is that increasing? Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong gauge. 10%. There's 15 to 20% fuel on. Oh there, ground staff don't seem too fussed. I'll move that to run. Or open. Perfect, those engines are spooling up. Right, I'm just going to quickly set the thrust settings for departure, which I forgot to do. Let me just find the part in the tutorial which refers to the tables so I can show you what I'm doing. So here we go, it says, I forgot to do this here then, so we now need to set thrust index for departure. We'll be flying a full power takeoff today with no derate, so we'll set the thrust index directly from the thrust index charts. So what we need to do is go in this table here. We are 300 feet here in Stansted, so a bit of interpolation. Temperature is, let me just grab the METAR, it's 24 degrees and the QNH is 1018. So 300 degrees, 300 feet, 24 degrees is down here, and 1018. It's not going to make much difference, the pressure there. So it's 169 interpolating, so we'll set 169 here. And what that means, just like be able to correct me if I'm wrong, when you set that here, you actually set the thrust for departure now. These are the sort of target settings here. You set this to 100% now, 100% for takeoff, 100%. But if you are at a higher elevation or a higher temperature, the thrust output's obviously a lot lower, and you need to adjust it accordingly. So we're going to use full rated thrust for departure. I'm now going to get the pushback ready. I'm just going to make sure I've got the right place in my checklist as well. Bear with me. After engine start, perfect. So actually, let me just do the flow here. So on the overhead panel, we'll move that Gen 3 to off reset. APU to off. There's a slight drop in pressure, no more than at least 5 psi. Sorry. Switch both air conditioning main switches to on. There we are. They are both on. Using the AC/DC rotary selectors, you can select all the electrical parts there, make sure they're in the green band, so you can check the AC buses, transformer rectifier units, they're all looking good. We've got AC power for generator 1 and generator 2, 115 volts. Not expecting icing conditions, so we'll move the icing switches to the auto position, which is here, auto, window, and pitot heat is on. Hydraulic panel, check the hydraulic pressurizations, all in the green bands, which it is. We'll check the flight controls now. So I'll turn on yoke cam for you too. So we've got pitch. Right, alarmingly, that's not working. Okay, let me just look outside to see if that's working. The gauge there. Okay, they're definitely moving. To be fair, maybe it's something that has to be done before you start taxiing to get the gauge to work, but I definitely have the hydraulic controls working. The flight control lights extinguished, flaps to 11. So 6 then 11. See, look, there's the little marker. Ah, the gust lock! The gust lock, maybe, yes, thank you. No. Still not moving, but they're actually working. Thank you, Just Flight, there you are, those are the trim indicators. So if I trim... I'm trimming, but it's still not moving. Okay, I think they might need to have a look. I'm trimming, I'm just going to make sure I've got takeoff trim set, there we are. So maybe that gauge needs looking into. And then we're ready for pushback now, so let's press Shift P. We're just going to do a straight pushback here.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground.
It's autopilot only, I think. Now, really important, guys, you want to configure this on your yoke or your peripheral here, the pitch down trim system. So one of the autopilot's very basic. It can either pitch for speed or pitch for an attitude. So on my yoke here, I've got 2 trim switches. This one I have for the conventional pitch. This one I have assigned now the Y button on my yoke to the pitch down. So if you watch this look, I can manipulate the autopilot trim now on my yoke without having to look down. So it's very important that you configure that system. The 146 has something similar with where you push it and you can pitch with the elevator. Oh, hello.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is
connected to the
all
tank.
doors and hatches
got
closed
shots
and
on as
all
well.
ground
That's
equipment
good.
is removed.
The parking
lied.
brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the
I've not done a
aircraft.
pushback, so I hope this actually works. Okay. Sometimes it's not always compatible with all aircraft.
Standing by for pushback.
Thanks, Doc. Yeah, as far as I know, those are the... It's complicated, but basically it's an autopilot trim indicator. It shows the trim setting from neutral when the autopilot's engaged. Understood. Understood. So, reverse.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
It's a bit inefficient,
cleared
this.
for start and
Starting the
push.
engines. I should have
Parking
done
brake
this
set.
first, but never mind.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Done it.
It will start in the sequence.
Okay. It's working. Excellent. Hope you're doing well, Rory. Nice to see you popping in here. Good evening to you, sir. Is the EFB like the one in the 146? It looks identical to me. I've got all my charts here ready for departure. Livery's cool, isn't it? They have their air angular one, but their engines they just need to paint yellow, which they're aware of. I was going to use that one. But yeah, after today's flight, we'll then jump on board online on VATSIM. But this is my last day off. I've got a full 5 days of flying coming up. I do have some shorter days, so I'm on early, so if I'm not too tired, I might jump in on VATSIM on this aircraft. Usually when I've flown an aircraft new for the first time, I'd like to fly 2 or 3 streams of the road before I forget everything. Look at this. Have I been a good professional streamer? Look, here's all my notes. My notes here. It's worth a fortune. If you want me to sign it and send it to you, I can do. But here's all my notes for the Just Flight. I have it on all the aircraft I've flown in the past. Look. Oh, look, there's another Just Flight one. That was just coincidence. Like the Just Flight Hawk. I've not flown that for a while. The Fly JSIM Q4 XP. Yeah, what else we got here? Tolis A340. The Wing 42 Boeing 247. Yeah. I always make notes on all the aircraft, so when it comes round to streaming it again, I can remember the most important aspects. Right, anyway, I'll aim this to finish the pushback now. So, where's the pushback tool? Stop.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Perfect. Oh! Bit of an
Ground.
aggressive
Startup
drop.
is complete. You may disconnect.
Clunk.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side.
Do you have
a
notes of
good
the
flight.
73?
Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Excellent. Interesting. I thought it just came naturally to you. I wish. Right, ready for taxi. Taxi lights. All the lights are down here. So taxi light on. Perfect. We'll now release the parking brake. I hate that this is the only indication of your fuel. Don't like that at all. Right, let's go. Add a bit of power. We're on our way. So aircraft burns about 1.8 tons of fuel an hour. Compare it to the 737 MAX, which burns about 2.1, 2.2. This only has 80 seats. The MAX, you can get it nearly 200 people in here, just to go to show how efficient fuel engines have come these days. Hey Brendan, how is it so far, Captain? We'll have to watch this back because I'm too busy to watch it. We enjoyed it so far. I'm sure chat has as well. Had a bit of a longer start-up than usual, but we always take the time doing the checklist in length here, and I think I've not forgotten anything too important. Anyway, taxiing on the main taxiway. We'll go down to runway 22. And we'll get this set up for departure. So we'll be heading select on the flight directors. Initial pitch attitude of 10 degrees, which is the top attitude right there. You'll see the flight director bars turned here slightly because we're not on the heading. In fact, I forgot to match the heading bug anyway. If you want 222. Let's go to idle. It says confirm the collector tanks. Oh, we have a FPS bloop. Confirm the collector tank indicators on the pedestal are black. These are black here, indicating that there's more than 590 kilos in the collector tanks. What were the collector tanks? Is that somewhere where the fuel goes before they go in the engines? Interesting. Turn off the APU during the taxi out, so we'll hold down the stop button. There we are, the APU spooling down. And set the APU main switch to off. Lift dumpers can be armed on the wing. You press this little red button here, look. Arm with a light on it. Looks like a cigarette lighter in a car. Is this ultra 1080p settings? No, high-end 1080. This gives me much better FPS. There's the Indie Build Stansted series installed. Stream not so long ago. Oh, actually, we'll go for all November. Take the next left. Confirm the gust lock is off on the autopilot control. Set the yaw damping in. That's in. Transponder 2 on. Just follow the forklift. Actually, we need to turn left here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you joined the stream, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Helps the channel out a lot. We are in the Just Flight F28, the Fokker. First time flying a Fokker on a live stream, and I'm having so much fun so far. You're going to have even more fun when you see me attempt to take off. It has a lot of power. It won't be pretty. I'll do my best for you there. Excellent. I got confused. How does the 737 MAX more efficient if it burns almost twice tons per fuel? No, it doesn't. So this burns 1.8 tons of fuel per hour. The MAX burns 2.1, so it burns more fuel per hour. But you think how many seats are on this? 85. The MAX in all economy configuration has almost 200 seats. So there you go. Right, hold at the Cat 1 hold point, Sierra 1. Alex, collect attacks at the base of the wings. Their main purpose is to remain full to prevent fuel starvation from aircraft turning off, pitching and the aircraft sloshing. Wow, that's really cool. I've seen that on another aircraft. Is it the 146 as well? Maybe Just Flight does, just like modelling aircraft with collector tanks. I don't know. Right, we're at the whole point. Set transponder 2 on. On, and altitude reporting is already on. A, B, C and D, I have no idea what that does. All lights can come on now as well. Welcome on board, Woodhill, thanks for subscribing. Landing flare out lights, and we'll have the strobe lights on too. Inform the cabin crew that you are ready for departure by pushing the steward call button. Excellent. Into the runway. We're now ready for takeoff, so we'll set the parking rate. We will stop. I just want to talk through the takeoff here. Oh, just like, please do a BAC 111. Cabin secure for departure. Very pretty sim. Well, I don't need to sort of line up and use every inch of this runway. This thing's got oodles of performance. The V speeds are very low. Oh, look at that. I'll take that line up. Wonderful. Right, bring it to a stop. Just set the parking brake for a second. Ooh, make sure you stop there. So remember, straight ahead, 3.1 miles, right turn inbound to Barkway, left turn from Barkway. We'll level off at 4,000 feet. I'll try my best to hand fly this departure as accurately as possible. And we're going to take off. We'll set 100% thrust. It is 100%. We've set the, I can't remember what this figure is though, to 169. That's what you set 100% to. And that ensures everything's in limits. In the real aircraft there's a little detent position. At the moment Just Flight they have a clicking sound to indicate that you have the detent selected. Rotate at VR, V2 plus 10 for the initial climb out. This will be a very high attitude at this gross weight. We'll reduce thrust to about 85-90% at 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet. Lower the nose, we'll accelerate to 200 knots for that first turn inbound to Barkway. When I have a bit of capacity, I'll move these switches. 20. I think it's the engine derates to climb, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much for donations. Feldjugger, appreciate that just before departure.
Greetings from Germany for a cup of coffee while cruising.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll have to jump over to Costa and go get one in the cruise. Cheers, buddy. Right, Toga's in chat then. There's no way to set a timer here, I don't think. So we'll note the takeoff time is 15:52 Zulu. Parking brake released. We'll get Yoka cam on. I will try with the Tobii eye tracker initially. Let's see how we get on there then. So I'll just wait until he says engine stabilised. Power. There we are, there's 100%. There we are, airspeed's alive. Right, rudder coming in, release forward pressure. I don't know where the wind's coming from actually, I think it's from the right, left, isn't it? Maintain the line, hand off the thrust lever. Keep the wings level with aileron. There we are. Whoa, don't sink. Positive rate of climb. Gears coming up. Perfect. So, oh, look at this. I need to get a much higher altitude here. Maintain this speed. I'm just going to turn the eye tracker off here because I need to look at this.
Flaps up.
So flaps up. We're already above 156 knots. We'll lower to 10 degrees. I'm going to bring the thrust back to about 85%. Got more than enough energy. We'll lower the nose to 10 degrees. There's 2,000 feet. So I'm going to accelerate to 200 knots. So I've bumped 200, and then this little white bar will replicate 200 knots for us. I'll just turn the sim down here. Just do about 1,500 feet per minute. There's 200 knots. So I'm going to pitch up to maintain that speed. And we've also got one to go. DME wise, remember I'm waiting for a distance of 3.1 miles, or at 1.8 there to level off. Switch my rate of climb. Start leveling off because the stop altitude's 4,000 feet. Lock showing fly right. So leveling off at 4,000. Not cheating, I just want to show you where we are. There we are, there's 3.1 DME. Start the right turn. Ooh, level off 4,000. Jim, where was your altitude call? So don't take too much thrust off because the aircraft, you want to try and keep this 80% minimum. There we are, there's 4,000 feet recovered. And trim for about 220 knots. That's because I've got too low a thrust setting. I think it's the gear warning horn. And we'll switch this over to nav 2. There we are, there's the HSI come out. Look at that altitude keeping. Oh, I can't teach it, can't teach it. Right, let's just go wings level here, fly back towards the radial. There you go, and yeah, ooh, it's quite sensitive a pitch. Right, we're now inbound to Barkway. You can see it there, that's looking good. So what I'm going to do is just lower my workload now. And oh, stream went down. Oh, guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm still here. If the stream went down, I'm very sorry. Let's get the autopilot in. Let's get this in trim. Okay, so we'll select in. And we want beam, Vorlock, and just height hold for a second here. So the aircraft's now flying inbound on nav 2 on the HSI. I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know how much you missed. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, it was only during takeoff, of course. I just hope it comes back at least. It shows all 100% health here on the stream. Yeah, we're approaching Barkway now, so I'm just going to revert to heading. And then we'll start climbing again shortly. Heading select. Let's turn right. Now, why is that not turning? It's because I've got beam on, that's why. Heading select. Next then is 263 outbound. Just for a few seconds, no problem. Ah, okay. Good. Right, so we're now going to fly outbound 263. I've overshot it there slightly again. So no issue. We're just going to go past it. We're sort of overhead the VOR. Oh, noise. It's wonderful. So overshot the VOR slightly. Going back towards Utava, and we'll climb up to our cruise level now of 280. So 280 set. The best way of doing this is indicated airspeed hold. I'll show you pitch hold on the descent. Well, I can show you now. Well, I'll show you both actually. Let me just accelerate to 250. Go back to beam. Now you go the Vorlock. The flight director and autopilot's now going to follow the 263 outbound. And just before I do anything else, we just need to set up that new airway from Buzzard. We're now inbound to Buzzard. So we need to tune up Biggin 15-1, 329 outbound. 15-1, 329 outbound. So 15. Oops. 15-1 and 329 outbound. Perfect. So when that Biggin VOR comes in, we can fly outbound from there, about 39 miles. So we've accelerated. We'll accelerate to 250 knots. Thrust here. Oh, I just realised beams off. I should be on nav 1. What have I done? Hold on. 1105. Hold on. I've just accidentally got the wrong VOR tuned here. I need 1625 still. 1625. That's 250 knots. 1625. That's better. Now we can go back to beam. Sorry about that. Now we're navigating that trip. Right, yeah, I just wanted to show how to fly this aeroplane in pitch then. So we're at 250 knots now. If you select pitch, the aircraft is now controlled attitude-wise. Just turn these sounds out here. Oh, that's better. The aircraft attitude is controlled by this switch, which I've configured to a button on my yoke. So if you want to pitch up, you just simply hold this down and set the pitch attitude you want. And you just got to make sure you add thrust. So I can set 1,000 feet per minute. So I'm pitching up with that blue switch. I'll set 1,000 feet, and you could just simply pitch the aircraft using that button. I'll set a bit more thrust here. A bit too much. I need to move these switches to climb as well. There you are. Now that's one way of controlling the pitch. Great on non-precision approaches if you want to just control your rate of descent, but far easier today is going to be IAS. So IAS hold, the aircraft's now going to pitch for the speed, and I can set my climb thrust, so I'll leave it at 100%. And there we are, climb thrust set. And the aircraft is now going to pitch up to maintain 250 knots, which was the speed at which I selected it. Wonderful, right. I need to sort this VOR out here again. So 15-1 on nav 2. And the radial we want. Now how do I get this course to change here? Interesting. Don't know what I've done there, but it worked well on the test sector. I was able to tune up nav 2 or select something different on nav 2. It's not to worry, I can use nav 1. Let me just match the heading. It's going to go heading select. So heading. Where's my flight plan? OFP. Output. So we need to find Buzzard. So after Buzzard, the track is going to be 328. So I'll do it on box 1, that's fine. 328. And the Biggin VOR is at 15-1. There we are. So when that HSI comes alive here, I'll show you on Navigograph. We're currently here, so if I turn on the aeroplane icon, there you go, look, we're approaching Buzzard. This HSI is representing this airway from Buzzard, and you can see the HSI is slowly coming alive now. So what I'm going to do is give myself an intercept heading 45 degrees, and then we can go beam. Right, I'll have a look here in chat. The workload is incredibly high for me, so do bear with me. We've got everything completed now. Climb at 250 knots. We're on a heading to intercept the airway, the Tango 420 from Biggin, and we're climbing to 280. You see, look, I've got full climb thrust, 100%. It's not a quick climbing aeroplane, and we can actually now do the after takeoff checklist. So, IS holder in, verify the pressurization system. So this is opposite to the 737. It caught me out. The big needle's cabin altitude, the small needle's diff pressure. So diff's 2.5 psi, cabin altitude's 3,000 feet. So the aircraft's pressurizing. and we'll turn the lights off passing 10,000 feet. We need to set standard, obviously, because we're in the UK here, so 1013. There we are, and beam. There we go, the aircraft's now going to intercept this localizer, the radial. Right, Mike Olofsson, thank you for your membership. Welcome on board, glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom modes in chart. Thank you very much for the support. Both HSIs showed a selected nav source. Now, how do I select this HSI to nav 2? Is it this button? No, because I think that does something funky. Funky with the course, isn't it? So if I change this course, it doesn't change that. I need to look at the manual here for that one. Right, anyway, passing 100 for 280. We need to accelerate to 270 knots. So again, we'll revert to the pitch mode. Pitch. I'll lower the pitch to around 500 feet per minute. So I'm going to use the pitch trim. And you can see actually that gauge is moving now. So I'm using the pitch trim here, the little blue switch I've configured to my yoke. 500 feet per minute. There we go. We'll bug 270. Just about there. And when we're doing 270, that white bar is going to move towards that circle. When that white bar is bang on that circle, go back to indicated airspeed hold. A bit of a strong wind here coming in. Has anyone got the wind? Look at this, we're tracking on the radial, but we've got about 15 degrees drift. This is the radio altimeter, it's pretty cool. Nearly at 270. There we are, 270. So go back to indicated airspeed hold. The aircraft's now going to pitch up to maintain 270 knots. Click nav 1 or nav 2 under the course selector knobs. Oh really? I thought that selected what the autopilot was following. Yeah, oh I don't want to do that. Because yeah, it went off. I've lost nav 1 there. Beam, there we go. Sorry, I'll just use 1. Cool, so let's have a look again at Navigraph. So we're now on this airway. We might as well tune our next VR, Trent 15.7. There we are, so we've got DME for that. So DME for DME 2, DME 1. I might as well switch that to the active VOR. So I'm just going to go heading select for a second. Heading select, 15.7. And back to beam. We're now flying inbound to the Trent VR. There you go, which is here. So we're going to be going right over Leicester, there's East Midlands Airport, into Trent, and left turn there. Wake Vortex, welcome also on board as a member. Glad you're enjoying the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom modes in chat. Thank you very much for the support. Dark Transit does. The HSIs only display the selected nav source that the autopilot and flight director follows. So the light here, I guess, means we're following this course here. But if I select nav 2, watch, it spits out of all lock mode. So look, I've lost autopilot and roll, and now it's gone to roll mode. So I can only select 1, and I want it to follow nav 1, obviously, with beam, but I want to control the HSI here. So you can see if I change the course, the HSI isn't moving. Are there always VORs at the end of the airway? Calypso, yes, many years ago, but these days no. Just aren't have waypoints. Go to DME ARC later. Spoiled by the 742 with the independent HSIs. Well, these are independent. They were on my test sectors. I don't know what I've done to not be able to tune the HSI here. Anyway, I can work with just 1. We've got 15.7. And we're about to Trent. We're burning in the climb. 1.3 tonnes an hour per engine, so 2.6 tonnes. Love this here as well. So Trent, we can convert that to knots, so you get an indication of your speed, which is decreasing as we climb. Probably the headwind's increasing. It should take about 8.5 minutes to get to Trent. I think you can split the HSI with the approach button in between. Aha! Oh. Uh-oh. I've got internet issues. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Yeah, I did actually have, I think, an internet issue because everything's gone a bit slow. I've lost Navigraph charts temporarily. There we are. I think I had a little blip of the internet because I did actually have Microsoft Flight Simulator moaning at me and my Navigraph charts didn't load. That's the second time that's happened. I usually have flawless internet. Flawless, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Probably someone used the in-flight Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm sorry for that intermission. All seems to be working now. Maybe it is photogrammetry, because that is actually something I turned on. You know what? That could be sucking up all my data. You know what? Because I'm offline, I'll keep the real-world maps on, but I will turn off photogrammetry. You know what? Let me just do that for a second. It's going to go really quiet here, though, for a second. Because that was something I turned on today, and I reckon that's sucking up all my bandwidth. Because it was off, and I've only just started having this issue right now. Where is it under? It's under data, isn't it? So we want Bing Maps on, photogrammetry off, because that's just the cities, isn't it? I know I should have enough to handle it, DoubleOCNet, but I've never had issues like that. And I turned that on today because at some point today I did have Microsoft do its internet thing where it says you've disconnected, but I was always online. And then I realised, oh, photogrammetry's off, I'll use that. It's good if you bubble around in the cities, but there we are. But yeah, my download speed is about 500 meg per second, so it shouldn't be an issue. Uploads 100, but it's capped at something like 20 or 30. Anyway, there we are. Ooh, what have I just done? Alternate source, no, I don't want that. Yeah, so anyway, we'll continue towards Trent. We've got about 32 miles to run. Actually, what's this DME reading? 5.3. That's the one we're interested in, though. That's the Trent. So 15.7 active. I have no idea. Oh, sorry. That's time, isn't it? I was like, why is that 5 miles? 5 minutes till Trent. You're gonna have to bite the bullet and get your own internet and stop piggybacking on next doors. Brilliant. So look outside. Does look a bit inclement down there. We're on the way. Absolute beast. Press space to level the drone cam. Thank you. I was doing that sort of angle. Looks a bit cool, isn't it? That's loud. So you can see as we climb that the percentage drops off. I think that's just as a percentage of your total power. So I've pretty much got full power here. I don't know if there's a maximum RPM here for HP, high pressure. But they're working hard. I mean, typically as you climb and that you have less thrust away, but I'm just going to take a little bit of power off there. Oh, yeah, I forgot to turn the lights off. Those are the logo lights, aren't they? Or maybe the nav... No, they can't be the nav lights. Oh, the nav lights? Why the nav lights? The large lights there. It also turns those on as well. Yeah, nav is like the logo lights too, and also the nav lights. So not only is it the red and green light, it's a large. There's a large light in the flap. Climb thrust D10 to about 96.05. Okay, thank you. I'll definitely reduce power then. I'm listening for. I think I just heard the click. Hold on. Yeah, hear that click? That's the detent. That's giving me about 98. That's probably a more realistic climb setting now, which is going to be a very, very, very slow climb. 500 feet per minute. It's looking really nice out there. Flap's still at 6. What? No, surely not. Have I been at that the whole time? Oh my days, that's really embarrassing. Yeah, that might be why I've had such crap performance. I spammed that flaps up button. Right, what excuse have I got for this? Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, if you spam the flap button, it doesn't always put the flaps up. So I think that's what I always do in Microsoft Flight Sim. I spam that button. There we are. Well spotted anyway. I was just testing you all. That's better. 1500 feet per minute. Yes. All good. All good. All good. Actually, I might have been alright for maintenance. Oh no, actually I wouldn't have been if I was doing 260. No, they're fine. They're fine. I can see lots of laugh emojis jumping up into the chat there. Unbelievable. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're definitely up now. Anyway, moving on. Approaching Trent, 5.7 miles. So what we're going to do is find our next outbound radial from Trent, which is... Oh, I can't... Why is it not showing that one? I have to go to the next waypoint. 292. Okay, so 292, heading select. Oh, they're playing cabin music. 292. I'll just fly past there. Mark Pierce, do you not fly VR to VR online? Not really. There's very few airways now actually based off convention. Well, the UK has quite a few, but the rest of Europe, it's all RNAV based now between waypoints. Right, it's a few more degrees to the left. We're now flying outbound on the 292 radial from Trent, inbound to Wallasey, so we can tune 14.1. Although I cannot get the course to be independently set now, but we'll just set that later. And we'll just go to beam. Lock. There we go. Comes pilot turns it on for boarding.
Minimums.
Lights off
Minimums.
for night
Minimums.
takeoffs.
Approaching minimums.
I can hear it now though. Can you actually control it here? I love all this. There's these switches. You can actually control the volume of it here.
50,
Very, very cool.
40, 30.
Jamlin, thanks for the 40
40.
bumps. Hope you're doing well. Looking
10.
forward to painting this puppy. I guess we need to get... So I've just seen this here.
How could you forget about me?
Cheers, Natural Flops. Thank you very much for your donation. Yes, listen, we all like a little bit of flaps. 6 degrees is fine. I was just checking the drag model of the flaps. It's excellent. And now I've stowed them. Oh, dearie me, dearie me. To be fair, it's is that the only indication of the flaps? You know, it's if you're not really looking at that, and that's obviously my default view, it's very hard to spot when you've got them still extended. More spamming required there. Thanks, Natural Flops. And yes, thank you, Javelin, for your 40 bucks. But yes, this will be a nice one to add to the Alpaca Airways Dutch fleet. There we are. Anyway, on our way to Wallasey, we've just passed Trent, so past sort of Nottingham and Leicester behind us now. I've noticed this. I don't know if it's a Microsoft Flight Sim thing, but the thrust or exhaust fumes seem to go off in that direction. When I had contrails earlier, they were directly behind the aircraft. Chris, thanks for looking at this. For information, just read the Just Flight manual. Seems the HSI are not independent. Remote course selector knobs control the course indication on the HSIs. 122. They were on my test sectors though. I was able to independently set each course. So I don't know if I've switched on something, or maybe it was. This has been updated, but no, I can't seem to independently set them anymore. But I should think in real life though. Yeah, of course you can independently set that. But now it's changing both of them. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's fine for now. Yeah, you're crabbing that side. No, you're thinking of something else. I can't control this course selector independently. You're quite right. We are crabbing though. This is about 10 degrees of drift, because the wind's obviously going to be coming in from the southwest quite strongly today. Possibly, Chris, yeah. But yeah, that one because of the wind. Oh, I don't like this sort of high altitude cloud we're going into. We'll keep an eye out for the ice detection light. We'll now tune up the next VOR from Trent, which is going to be Wallasey 14.1, which is already here, and you can see we've got the DME 32 miles and 24 miles now, so we'll switch over to turn down the music. Yeah, we're all down photogrammetry or whatever that was, yeah. I've got my BT app open here and it's saying it's not had any timing out whatsoever, so I don't know if it could be something YouTube side. Wi-Fi is absolutely working fine. There we are. Well, it's definitely, I think it's not YouTube though, because look, I'm getting Microsoft Flight Simulator things, so that would certainly indicate it's something my side, wouldn't it? Oh dear. Anyway, we've reached our cruise level, so I can start reducing the power. No order throttle, remember. And this is tricky. It's about Mach decimal 70 I want to fly. Trying to find that perfect thrust setting is a fiddly ask. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and again, sorry about this. I very rarely have the internet problems you're experiencing. It's looking beautiful though, the sim. And we're not going to spend a huge amount of time here in the cruise either. So I need to add a bit of thrust there, just to keep our speed at Mach decimal 70. I don't know what the best thrust setting is here. I should have made a note of this in my test sectors. I'll set about 60. Let's go about 65% here, which seems a bit high, about 95% HP. Trying to keep them in sync's quite tricky. Now approaching the Wallasey VOR, 15 miles to run. It's going to be 2.5 minutes. So just to show you where we are. There we go. From Wallasey, right turn to the Isle of Man. So I'll get that tuned up now. 12.2. I can just go heading select. A bit early. It just makes it a little easier if I go heading select. 12.2. And the course from Wallasey 306. Perfect. So we'll just monitor that when it's on the line. Let me know. Video quality's got the streams dropped as well. Oh dear. If you're not clacking, you're slacking. That is true. I am actually going a little fast now. Oh yeah, I'm actually approaching decimal 7.5, so a little less thrust here. And we're burning about... Ooh, the engine's matched very well here. This is what the 737 NG burns in the cruise. Look at the size of them. They're tiny. Burning is just as much fuel as a CFM. Did you say 306 on the course? Yes, sorry. 306. I said 310. And we're pretty much there anyway, so let's go beam. Oh, a lot of work here to do. Very high workload. So we should be almost overhead Wallasey. There we go. So we're now flying inbound to Isle of Man, and then Belfast, and then there you go. And that's what happens if you go a little bit too fast. God, you miss it. Makes you love auto throttle. Anyway, Wallasey. So Liverpool's going to be down there. Yeah. Look, it's these are default. Oh, it's not even letting me have Bing Maps. Look. Let me try that again. I've got to not have default maps. That's the default Microsoft Flight Sim stuff. What is going on with my internet? Right, I'm going to have to turn that back on, guys. I'm not having that. If that kills my internet, then so be it. Right. It's under general options. Data. I just want Bing data on. There we are. Apply. That horn had me checking outside the window for a car horn going off. It does have that sound. It does have that sound. It's a 0 to 64-1 bypass ratio hard at work, making noise and smoke. Amazing. Right. Go back. Resume. That's better. That's Liverpool down there. Yeah, photogrammetry I want off Martin Kill. I don't want photogrammetry. Not unless I'm going to be bumbling around in a Cessna. Thanks, guys. Sorry about the internet issues here. I'm just trying to find the wind here. I think I'd best have the VFR up on here. Can't really see the barbs. Yeah, that's why we've got so much drift, look. We've got 50, 60, 70 knot crosswind. 70 knot crosswind here. Right, next VOR Isle of Man, 12.2. Same inbound course. I'm a step ahead of myself. 12.2. I've already got Isle of Man tuned. 12.2. 57 miles to run. Perfect. So you guys reckon it's a BT issue? Because it's my actual broadband. It's fine. It's not my broadband disconnecting. It's along the phone line, I guess, or something. Okay. Might have to renew the stream if it continues. Anyway, over the Irish Sea. There we are. There's the wind bar poles. Look at that. Isle of Man next. Over Belfast, capital Northern Ireland, onwards to Derry. Oh yeah, the Isle of Man TT. Yeah, that's the guys that do that. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I've seen the videos of these guys, and it's out of this world. just check my speed because I had a lot of thrust at the about to exceed MMO. Now, one thing I found in Microsoft Flight Simulator is sort of parasitic drag. It's sort of as you accelerate, parasitic drag doesn't seem to increase at the rate I'd expect it to. So it just sort of the aircraft, even with a slight increase in thrust, just accelerates onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards. I've always found that. On VATSIM today, I'll just solo today for our first flight. We will take it on VATSIM. Live weather is on, correct. Okay. Right, let's talk a little bit about this approach then into Derry and talk about our top of descent as well. So Belfast is our last VOR. Bravo Echo Lima. We'll continue towards the Isle of Man for now. And what's really nice about this, the airway takes us directly from Belfast. If I overlay this chart, look at this, it's bang on that line from the Belfast VOR. So what we're going to do, this is a bit 50-50 today, guys. The ADF on this is, I spoke to Scott from Just Flight. I struggled to get it tuned accurately. It's really, really difficult. So if we have a look on here, look, you can see the NDB is 328.5. Just turn the music off here for a sec. 328.5. You've got to tune it using this. So we want to rotate that to ADF 328.5. Now the only way I can do this accurately is by using my radio tuning panel to see exactly what I've got it set to. So just to show you here, if I turn on yoke cam, where we are, yoke cam is there. So you can see as I turn this rotary knob here, I can't actually use this here to set it, but as I rotate this, look, you can actually see what it's setting, which is quite useful. But unless you have this, you don't exactly know what to set, and there's no leeway, so you've got to set exactly 328.5. If you've got 328.0, you won't pick it up. So I'll set 328.5, and I picked it up earlier, but only when I was about 5 miles away, and then I did a test flight and it didn't pick it up at all the second time round, and I had it all set up correctly. But you can see I've got it set up now. So that's working. Let me just get the yoke cam set here. There we go. Look how much thrust I've got set there. So that's now tuned. Don't touch that, basically. And I'll switch this to yeah, it's already on ADF, I think, on one of them. Yeah, so when we get closer, it should point to the ADF on box 1. And this is, I think this is caged anyway. Yeah, this is caged, so you don't have to worry about that. Turn the gain up on the ADF. Is that going to make a difference? It's already on maximum anyway, but we'll see how it goes. But the devs did tell me that it's a known issue. So we'll do our best. We're going to try to fly towards the NDB. When we're 25 miles from Belfast, which equates to 14 miles off the DME of the ILS, we'll make a left turn. That initial track will be 218 degrees. So that's 90 degrees off 308 to 218. And then we'll fly the 12 DME ARC all the way around onto the ILS. If I can't get the ADF to work, we'll just have to sort of sell position. And we'll make sure we stay above the MSA, which is 3.3, so we'll maintain 4,000 feet. So it's all safe there. So we'll do that, and I've got to keep the Belfast VOR all active and tuned. Course we'll set when we're on the ARC 073. The minimums I can set now 262. The rad out and minimums call is based off radio altitude, so I'll set 241. It would usually be Barra for Cat 1, but we'll set 241 here, and it makes a really cool sound when you approach minimums. So 241 is set, and what we'll do, we'll now set the Belfast VOR, which is directly after Isle of Man. We're approaching the Isle of Man VOR now. So Isle of Man to Belfast, and the Belfast VOR, just go back to the IOA charts, is 17.2. So again, back to heading. 17.2. Should obviously identify this, make sure you're happy with it. Same course as well. Actually, what was it on the charts? We'll set 308. 308. So we're going to fly over this VOR, so we'll have to go back to heading later. And we'll go back to beam. There we are. So we'll now make a left turn to intercept the radial. We're going to be overhead Belfast, looking just under 14 minutes, so we should be soon over the Isle of Man. It's quite cloudy. There's the RSC below us. There's actually thunderstorms forecast, or in Knock. Not Knock, we're not going there, Derry. What's the verdict on the F28 so far? Day one purchase? Yes, I'm very happy with it. It's very quirky, high workload, very high. It's a very unique design. I've had to learn a whole new set of handling and autopilot systems. The way, I love the classic Boeing jets, because I can sort of jump in it and just fly it, whereas this has required a bit of preparation and prep. But very, very pleased with it. It's a real challenge. You get all the documentation you need included, which I use to set up for this stream. But yeah, quirky, sounds great. It is quirky. So yeah, I think we've covered what we want to do then. So overhead Belfast VOR, DME ARC round. I'll try and explain to you what I'm doing. I've flown a few DME ARCs on the stream there. Oh yeah, this offset is an offset approach, like 3 degrees offset. So the runway will be on the left hand side coming across. It's completely normal. I've got some freeware scenery for Derry installed as well. So some weird stock smoke effects though, which look a bit weird. RVR needed is 800 metres. Let's actually look at the latest weather for Derry as well. So right now 0703, so they'll probably be using 25, but we'll stick to 07. It's 9,000 metres, rain, a few CBs, lovely, and scattered cloud. The forecast though is not the nicest. We've got tempo thunderstorms for that's tomorrow. So between now and 2100 tempo, variable 25 knots, 3,000 metres, hail, thunderstorms, broken at 800. Lovely. So hopefully none of that will come into fruition when we get closer. But right now there are CBs. Lovely. Right, where's the aircraft? Oh, it's just intercepted the course, that's why. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Now, need to work out when to start our descent. So ideally, I want to be 6,000 feet, I'd say, at the start of this procedure. We'll then descend to 3.5. I don't mind levelling off on this. CDA, it's quite tricky. Now, one thing that's worth noting in this aircraft, it's in the manual, and it says, on approach, it's preferred to use speed brake over reducing power below 80% at H. So it's saying it wants you to keep the power 80% or higher. So that means you have to use speed brake with thrust, and it's really unnatural. I don't know exactly why. Typically on the older aircraft, you need to have a minimum N1 or N2 to ensure pressurization, especially at higher altitudes, but this is saying on approach, so I don't know if it's sufficient for engine spawn-up times or something like that. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Keep it on speed. Yes, we've just dropped to decimal 6, haven't we? Let's add a little bit of thrust here. Thanks for that. Well done. You are my eyes and ears in chat. Anyway, as I said, top of descent, we want to be at 6,000 feet, around 25 miles from Belfast. So we're already 60 miles to go. So 85, we need to be at 6,000 feet, we're at 28,000. So we need to lose 22,000 feet, so about 66 miles. What's 66 minus 25? 56, 46. So 41 miles from Belfast, we want to start our descent. And we're 60, so about 20 miles. Or, we've got a great top descent calculator here, so we can type in 6,000 feet. We can say what desired vertical speed. We can actually use this pitch mode. If we do 2,000 feet per minute, look. Current altitude, sync, ground speed as well. So, to do 3-degree angle, 2,000 feet per minute, yeah, at 70 miles from where you want to level off at 6,000 feet. We worked it out as 40 plus 25, so 65. It's not far off at all. Yeah, do the 3 times height, or on this one you can just set 2,000 feet per minute. Because yeah, you don't want indicated airspeed. You've got to be careful of going idle thrust here. But yeah, we'll do it 40 miles from Belfast. But yeah, top of descent, 3 times your height. Roughly works out well. You can use the pitch mode just to maintain a fixed vertical speed. I don't mind being conservative today, so it's very difficult to do a CDA in this aircraft because of the minimum pitch requirements. Nick, just maybe minimum M1 for pneumatic anti-air systems. Yeah, typically it's based off N2, those systems, but it does state on approach, prefer to use speed brake over reducing thrust or power below 80% HP, which is really interesting. But yeah, we've got the ADF tuned as close as we can get it, 328.5. That's all active. If we get to 14 or 25 miles from Belfast and we don't have the NDB, I'm going to have to self-position. Now you can self-position onto an approach, just got to make sure you self-position above the MSA. Oh, look at, yeah, see what I mean about parasitic drag? I added such a small amount of thrust, about 2% more, and I've gained about 0.1 Mach. Seems a bit excessive, the amount of thrust I added. And I think that's just Microsoft Flight Sim's parasitic drag model. It's not, it's too sort of linear, it should be sort of increasing as speed increases. Possibly Dock Trench, but the engines that are modelled here do spool up quite quickly. I'll do my best to do that, but yeah, this isn't the sort of airplane you can chop the thrust levers if you're slow. It very much states, it's not a mandatory requirement, but you can't just chop the thrust levers. It's going to hurt the engines in some way. And these engines are 60 years old. Spurious Podge, I read an account of a BA 146 captain who was flying on final approach. Similarly, allow for quick spool up in case of go around. You set the power and you use the big speed brake to control speed. Very cool. Now the 737 has EEC, and what that will do, it will just set a higher thrusts for you, higher idle setting. Right, we're past our top of descent point, so let's go down. The minimum altitude on this segment for Belfast is 3,500, so I'll set that. 3,500. We've got plenty of fuel, just over 2 tons a side. And we're going to use, let's do indicated airspeed and slowly reduce power to 80% RPM here. No lower, because that's what it's need to do. The aircraft's going to descend. Let's see what rate of descent that gives us. We might have to use the speed brake here. Yeah, that's going to be way too shallow. Now the speed brake it's really cool. You can use as much as you like, but it'll only deploy as much as it's allowed to do for aerodynamic loading, and it's completely automated. Can this do heading select? Yes, it can, which I'll need to revert to soon anyway when we pass Belfast. Ah, there is Northern Ireland ahead. And just to show you where we all are. How many miles we got to Belfast? 31 miles, so we're just approaching the coastline here. If I turn the little aeroplane icon on, there you go. Now I will revert to heading select, passing over the beacon. It might be able to fly over it and stay in beam, but I'll just go heading select, play it safe. Good drift here still as well. Right, now I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake. That's going to really help with the rate of descent. Look at that. And it's only opening up a small amount. Look, that's as far as it'll open, but you imagine how much drag that's going to give you. We're ensuring that we have our minimum 80% HP here. That's a much better rate of descent now. So yeah, this is interesting. Now there's another part, I think it's only on approach. It did say somewhere, when you're below 20,000 feet you can go to idle. Air brake, speed brake, yes, sorry. I mean, what does it label it as? No, they do actually label it speed brake. Speed brake, and then you've got the lift dumpers, which are controlled with a on the thrust lever of all places. We're doing about 260 knots here in the descent. Are speed brakes deployed over the threshold? Yes, so just before the threshold you do extend the speed brake, so they are out during the flare on this aircraft. Hi Kieran, hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in. I happen to know Kieran. He's a jolly good fellow. Is the F28 approved for London City in real life? I believe, did it fly into here? I think it did. I think it even had a steep approach option. So I think below 20,000 feet the tutorial says you can go to idle, but on approach you must try to ensure that you have 80%. What's running that nice status bar at the top? The legend Tuber Guy says that's the Fly Live overlay. I can't actually see it on my screen, but it's interacting with Streamlabs, my streaming software. What does Beam do? Follows the VOR radial, and on an ILS approach follows a localizer. So it's Warlock mode, exactly as Doc Trench has just pointed out. Anyway, we're getting nice and low now, so in fact, I think as I've gone slower, look, the speed brake's the same position. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because I'm having to work backwards off Belfast. And remember the distance is, let me have a look here, it was 24 miles from Belfast is Dungv, and then we start the turn at 25 miles from Belfast. So we're just about to overfly the VOR in 10 miles. So we've got about 35 miles to run. 35, 7, yeah, that's actually looking good. What is glide? Glide slope, that is correct. So for glide slope, push that, ensure that you push approach first. We'll cycle the belts, they've been on the entire sector. Right, so only 9.5 miles to run from Belfast here, so what I'm going to do is turn on heading select. There we are. So yeah, if anyone could find out information about this minimum pressure setting, I'd be curious. I am keeping it around 80% with speed brake out. Descending with thrust though is extremely inefficient. You can see, look, I'm only burning, to be fair, a small amount of fuel. 230 kilos an hour per engine. Overhead Belfast Airport then, the VOR. There's, is that City or Aldergrove? Or is it disused? I'm not sure. That's Aldergrove, isn't it? Yeah, you can see the shape. Oh no, that must be something disused. There's the actual airport. There's Aldergrove. It does look similar. The VOR is over this airport, which we're about to fly over. I think the 80% limit is only for icing conditions. Interesting. Well, I definitely don't need it, so I could technically go idle if I wanted to. Thing is, if you go to, if I stow the speed brake and go idle, look, you do get that. Look, and that's, you can see, look, it's so, you can actually see, look, the horn is like at 72% anyway. So it's sort of, you can't go much lower than that. And I think that's just the gear warning horn, which you can cancel. Anyway, overhead Belfast, you can see, look, the DME's lost the range. Now we're the other side, that's great. We go back to beam for lock, and now we're waiting for 25 miles to start our turn. And we're looking great here. We want to be at 6, we'll aim to be at 6,000 feet at the start of the arc here. I'm going to bring that speed back to 250 knots now. So what I'm going to do is go to pitch. Took a bit too much thrust off there. So I've gone to pitch, and then we're going to use the pitch trim, autopilot pitch trim here, to trim up to about 500 feet per minute until I'm doing 250 knots. Get that speed brake out again, so I want to keep descending. Get ready for 250. So there's 250, back to indicated airspeed hold. The aircraft's going to pitch for 250 knots. 76% limit, interesting. Doc Trench, you can silence it, yes, you can, but I don't know if that's the gear warning horn. Here's the silencer, look. So you push that, it does silence it, but again, I'm just wary of that limit of the minimum thrust. Anyway, yeah, that's a good, great descent here. 250 knots, that's great. Hopefully, we'll pick up this NDB. The MSA on this, or the airway minimum altitude in this sector is 3,500 feet. Got 15 miles to run. Need to lose about 4.5. This is looking really good. We'll level off at 6,000 actually. That's where I want to start the arc, and then we can go down to 3.5 when we start the arc. I'm not worried about CDA today. Anyway, we'll stow the speed brake, reduce that. I'm going to get that warning horn again. Indicated airspeed hold's a little less workload than pitch hold, because obviously pitch hold you've got to monitor your pitch and your airspeed. This directly controls your speed. Clouds do look amazing in Microsoft Flight Sim, yep. I'm pretty happy that map's worked out well with the descent. At least the flaps are retracted now. Oh, you're actually going to get Microsoft Flight Sim list of it. Oh. From a maintenance perspective, I know some engines have a keep at range as far as they want to go. Cannot stay between 75 and 80 for more than 10 seconds. Interesting. Does make you feel like a pilot in the 70s. Absolutely. Right, we're going to tune up the ILS on box 2 now, which is 1083. Still a bit too... Oh, excellent. So this DME range is based off the approach, okay? So the arc is 12 miles. 12 miles. So when that gets to 14, which equals 25... Oh, hold on. Just realised. 25 miles. When that reaches 14 miles, which equates to 25 miles from Belfast. So you can see here, that's the information there. Look, 14 and 25, we can start the turn on the DME arc. Just need that... Oh, look, we've got the ADF. Excellent. It's working. It's working. I could do a DME arc for you, or attempt to. Don't forget replay, thank you. I need to put something to remind myself to do that. You can see why the MSA is 3,500 feet, can't you? Right, replay's on. Oh, look at this. This is working out perfectly for the DME arc. So look at that, because we're quite far out, that the ADF is not that accurate. See, it's swinging around. Look, it's all pointing around there. I'm meant to be navigating using this shortly. Right, I'm going to go to pitch hold here, and I want to maintain 1,000 feet per minute. You see, and I'm going to bring this. I'm going to have to bring the thrust back. I think it's only on the approach, maybe. Then I can do that. I want to bring the speed back to around 200 knots of the arc. One to go. We're waiting for a distance of 25 miles or 14. I'm actually, you know what, I'm going to go over to the ILS on this now. So 17.2. I'm going to heading select. 17.2. And the course for the ILS final approach course is 073. Approaching 6,000 feet. Ah, so much to do. 073. Perfect. So waiting for 14 miles. Oh, what's happened here with the DME? No, I want the ILS frequency here. No, I put the... Oh, you stupid boy. 183. Put the Belfast on both. Should obviously identify that. 14 miles. Oh, 14 miles, so we need to start a turn now. So heading select. Where's the heading bug? And that initial heading was 218 degrees. 218 degrees. So we'll level off at 6,000 feet, and we can now go to 3.5. And we're going to go to pitch. Reducing to 200 knots. Pitching down to around 1,000 feet per minute now. I do not care about CDA today. And if all is going well, we should be turning on that DME arc perfectly. We need to maintain a 12-mile arc. Oh, you can't teach it. It's like LNAV. It's like LNAV. Oh, that is satisfying. Although it does say 11.3. 11.2. So what we're going to do is just roll past it slightly, 210. And I'm going to wait until we get to 12, and then I'll start another turn. So we'll turn inside it. So speed's okay. Oh no, speed's fast, 250. Ooh, I don't like to bring it all the way back there. Let's bring it down to 200. It's okay. So we're going to wait until 12 miles. Oh, I don't like the other needle. So it's the so we're actually going away now. So we're going to do a 20-degree turn here. Go to around 240. I want to keep that RMI needle here at 90 degrees. Oh, I'm struggling to bring that speed back, but I've got that very powerful speed brake. Lights coming on, yes. This workload's off. I'm doing a manually... well, I've got the autopilot here, but I'm flying a DME ARC. They do give me a little bit of patience. Lights are on. Post-cruise checks complete. 12.6 now. I'm turning outside. I need to... it's going so well. Do a big turn here. Get back towards the NDB. I'm just outside the arc. So I need to get that arrow above 90 degrees to fly towards it. I'm in 1 mile still though. Sort of the limits for an IR test. Want to go 3.5. That's fine. I'm going to level off nice and early today. I will decrease the pitch to around 500 feet per minute. Otherwise, the aircraft's handling well. Adding a bit of thrust. I'm going to keep it... what did he say? Did he want some flaps, did he? Stone speed brake. Oh, 200 knots, isn't it? Yeah, so I can do 180. Let's do 180. Lost the glide slope, that's okay. Right, 12.7. I'll give it another 5 degrees, 10 degrees. Just levelling off at 3.5. Remember, 3.5 is the minimum altitude here for positioning, and we can again go down to 2.5 after this radial there, so we're going to maintain 3.5 for a short while. 12.4 miles, and we're flying towards the beacon. We're back on the arc now. Speed's good. There you are, that's where we are. Just outside on the picture, but it's showing 12.2, so maybe a slight issue with the picture there. Turn another 10 degrees to the right. 3,500 feet level now, so add thrust to maintain 180 knots. Yeah, you see why it's 3.5 and no lower, and you can be in complete IMC here. On the 032 radial, when that tails on 047, we can descend to 2.5. Alright, I've turned a bit too early there. Oh dear, now we're into 11.6. It's really... I want to get rid of this other needle. It's really annoying. It's distracting. I actually looked at that needle thinking it was the one I was on. Actually, it's this needle here. So we're actually flying towards the airport, which is why the DME is decreasing to 11.2. But I was looking at the wrong needle. VSD on. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Did you say Q&A? No, I didn't. Thank you. So I'm actually 100 feet low. There we are. So we're just going to stay on this heading now until we get back to 12 miles. It's a massive DME ARC we're doing. I've turned inside there. I mean, it looks pretty, but because I was looking at the wrong needle, we've gone inside. There we are. Reduce thrust there. We can select this to take off. Oh, I feel like I should actually turn the other direction slightly. Keep it at 180 now until we turn final. So you see here, to maintain 180 knots, I'm having to leave that thrust at 65, even though it says minimum 80. So you'd have to bring the speed brake out and just be very inefficient. Well, the speed brake is yeah, it's slightly out. Docker trench, did you set the land out? No. My workload's just off the scale here. I can't remember what that's set to. It'll be okay. But you're right, you meant to reset that to the land altitude. I've had absolutely no capacity to do that, single pilot. I need some nice radar vectors or something. Right, we're now flying away. The small needle is the one I want to look at. Yeah, there's no other way of getting it. When that's at 12, we'll start another turn. Speed's bang on though. And we're actually approaching here the tail of that needle on the 047, so reciprocal 227. So when the 227, the tail of this is, I can go down to 2.5. Preset that now. I'm going to select pitch, and we're just going to do a very, very gentle rate of descent. Right, now I definitely need to turn. So we're on about a 310. We're at 12 miles, so we're at 90 degrees then, if we turn. I'm waiting until the 063, when the head of that needle's on 063, I can then turn final. My reference is this. I know I'm descending, so 063. I'm waiting for the head of that needle to be on 063 to turn final. Speed's good. Recorder's on, guys. Thanks for reminding me. Right. We're almost in the position to turn final. 12.1, that's good. And the needle's turning away from us. So let's give ourselves a little bit of an intercept. Look, the glide's already alive. And the head of that needle's 060. So I'm going to give myself an intercept heading now. We'll select approach. There we are, approach is on. Maintaining 180 knots. And we'll just do 500 feet per minute. 2.5 is the minimum altitude. Correct sensing. Alarm Vorlock, which I think is beam now with approach engaged.
Course bar active.
Excellent. He says course bar's active. Let's give it. There you are. Localizer's almost alive. This has worked out well. This has worked out very well. So just to show you where we are, just on the inset there. There you go. So not bad, not bad. I've done better DME ARCs for you, but pretty happy with how that went. Horrible day. I'll just increase the pitch trim slightly. That's the blue arrow moving down. Just want to do around 500 feet per minute. Localizer live, localizer captured. Set runway heading. And I'm going to try and keep so the manual says keep the power above 80% HP and use speed brake to control speed. So I'm going to try and do that to the best of my abilities. We'll do another natural flops now. And I'm going to bugger slower speed to alarm the glide slope, which is glide. It's working better. I had a few kamikaze dives on the test sectors. I'm going to have to bring that speed brake all the way out. And we're going to do flap 42, so push the 127. Perfect, so gear down at glide slope capture. And I've got 80%. Ooh, I don't quite have enough power there. Gear's really, really, really slow to extend. We can take another natural flops. I'm keeping that speed brake out. Got my power high as requested by the manual. Missed approach altitude is 2,500 feet. Ooh, where's it doing? It did this on the test sectors. Diving. Don't dive that much. That's too high. 2.5 is the missed set. Another natural flops. So remember, I've got the speed brake out and keeping thrust. Very inefficient, but the manual stipulates minimum 80% N1 HP on this approach. We're going to go full flap now as well. I could probably actually stow this now because I've got enough drag with the flaps. There we are, so landing checklist, gears down, flaps are full, speed brake, lift dumper's arm, there's no reversers, and yeah, I've got about 70%, it does say minimum 80% HP. You bugged to takeoff speeds, have I? Landing 121.42, no I didn't, it moved a tiny bit, I'll give you that. Anyway, it's about 2 knots difference. I'm doing well if I can fly that. And you can see, look, it's offset, remember? 3-degree offset. But yeah, well done, Just Flight. Look at that. 2 reds, 2 whites on the ILS. I'm just quickly rattling off the landing checklist here. Just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So landing checklist. Gear down to glide slope capture. Full flaps after glide slope capture. Autopilot off. Keep speed brake out over the threshold. Or select speed brake out over the threshold and land. There we are. Speed's a bit low. And there we are. I've done my best. I think I'm pretty happy with everything. Let's turn up the sounds here. We'll disconnect everything now. Do some hand flying. Excellent. That's done. There's no auto throttle. Disconnect autopilot is that button there. Check's complete. So I just need to extend the spoilers in the flare there. I've got localizer, glide slope information. I'm not going to use... Actually, I'll turn off the flight directors. Checked. 2 reds, 2 whites. I'll get back onto the extended centre line. Speed's good. If you look here on the instruments, you've got this little line to keep that on the circle. That's the correct speed to fly. good seating position here though. Tad high now, 3 whites. Keep descending. Hat is really one of the nicest hand flying planes though. It feels like a little sports car. Having just found that flight factor in X-Plane, which is not the best at the moment. There we are. Keep descending. Checked. Get ready to extend the spoilers over the threshold. Tad low, 3 reds. Weather's on our side. A bit of thrust. We'll hear the minimums coming up. Here they go. Someone's flatlined at hospital. Continue. Looking perfect here. Speed's good. So get ready to extend that speed brake, which I'm going to do now. Speed brake's out. Close the thrust lever over the threshold like a Cessna.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Bit firm, but we're down. Right. Lift upper should be up. Idle. No reverses. On the centre line. If I look outside, you should be able to see there's your lift uppers. I'm not using any wheel brakes. Roll to the end and then do a 180. Perfect. Not bad at all. Well, despite the slight delay in flap retraction on departure and the internet issues, very happy with how that went. What do you think of the aircraft, guys? Oh, that was hard work. It's always hard work streaming aircraft like this. There we go. And that was a DME ARC. Brake. That was a DME ARC into Derry. There we go. Very, very nice add-on. Brilliant. It's an adorable little Fokker. It is. Turning's a bit tight. I'll put that down to Microsoft Flight Sim. Having to use a lot of thrust. So it is the steering slightly. Well, ignore the taxi lights, but I cannot actually turn any steeper than that. Anyway, there we go. Right, DME ARC into Derry. Say that 10 times fast. Nose wheel steering's on. It's never turned off. There's your little tiller down there. Look, it's just Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, very, very good. Very impressed with the add-on. Absolute mammoth workload for you when you buy this, but I hope you might find this useful for you if you perhaps want to use it to prepare the flight. I've been following this checklist throughout the entire sector, and it works really well. There's loads more to it. I've done my absolute best to follow the manual regarding the thrust settings on descent, but they sent me a patched version which fixed some of the issues I was having on my earlier test sectors. For example, it did this thing where it just dived. It was like a runaway stabilizer issue. But anyway, let's have a little look. Actually, you know what? I've got Navigraph right in front of me on my excellent EFB. So let's bring up charts there. I've still got Stansted charts up. Look, there we are. So it's only one way to taxi. Left here, and I'll put the little aeroplane icon on, and then we'll go Bravo onto the main apron. Good aircraft. What do you think, guys? Yeah, I agree. But we'll fly it again soon. I think next stream we'll fly this before I forget how to fly it. But yeah, I'm glad I did a DME ARC. I've done some better ones, but the issue was the 90-degree VOR one, because it was off, it was quite confusing. It looked like it was the ARC one, so I was basing it off that. So I started turning a little too early because I thought I was bang on, but it was actually the other needle. Anyway, speed brake's still out in the apron. Lol. Oh, sorry, risk-wise. How unprofessional of me. I'll immediately stow them to gratify you. Let me remember how to. There you go. Oh no. There you go, and that starts the boarding music, or the arrival music. APU we can start up to as well. I was going to do my taxi music, but I don't need it because I've got this Just Flight, Just Landed audio. We'll take stand for. Sounds like hotel foyer music. Right, APU. Oh yeah. All right. Let me just get on stand here. No, did a good job. Did a good job. Prefer my taxi music if I'm honest. Let's bring it to a stop. Right, we're here. Parking brake is set. There we are. So we can now turn off all the lights. This music. Strobes off. APU, we'll start it up. So main on. Give it 10 seconds for that little door to open, remember. It's the APU inlet door opening at the back. How did it end up on an elevator lift? I know. APU start. Let me do the rest of the cleanup. Also landed here. So after landing, we can turn off and retract the lights, start the APU, turn off the window heats, probe heats. The anti-ice system can go from auto to off. Weather radar to standby. Sorry, to off. When the APU is running, which it is. Generator 3 on, and we can now shut down the engines. 2 blues, 1 red, pretty much. There we are. And it's gone on. Ooh, was that? Have I lost power, or is that? No, it's on the APU. It's on the APU. I'll just double check the battery just to make sure it's not discharging. No, it's perfect. Look, it's still there. There. We'll put the APU air on as well. APU air. There we are. So now we've got some nice conditioned air into the cabin, and we're here. Engines are spooling down. I think I got in just before the nasty weather here in Derry. We'll turn off the anti-collision lights off as well. There we go. Brilliant add-on. Great fun. Great fun. I got you from A to B and we're alive, just about. Sorry about those internet issues. Seem to have fixed themselves now. Let's have a little look here in chat before we do the replays then. We'll get the... Oh no, we need to start disembarking, don't we? I must look into this GSX. Everyone keeps saying, get GSX. Flight deck sim. Right, oh, okay. Let's open the passenger door. There we are. We can start getting off. Wonderful. We've survived, or as you call it now, Packaways Wednesday. Unbelievable, Martin. Donna says, bring us back in the cabin. I want to listen to that song. Unbelievable. Aircraft reminds me of that Ben Stiller and Denitro movie. Really? I don't even know what that one is. Spay engines, unbelievable. Alpaca cost cutting at work, excellent. DME ARC into Derry, I'm not saying that 10 times. Yeah, minus 300, it was a bit firm, but it's a bit unique this landing. You've got to crank that speed brake over the threshold, and it's quite sensitive, but got it down there. Flies quite nicely though. Excellent. Icing an issue here? No, it was all good. Is your capacity bucket full? It was busy there. Was busy. And I see a lot of other banter going on in the chat as well. Excellent. Well, massive thanks to Just Flight for sending it over. It should be available for you on Wednesday. I believe it'll be priced at $70 US, £52.49, 65 euros, which is a typical pricing for a high quality add-on like this. And you've seen it. I pointed out so many of the features on this, and I think I'm only still scratching the surface. You get a lot of liveries to choose from, different variants. You get the 1000 to 4000. You've got sim brief profiles coming, GSX profiles included, a 250-page manual. It's a superb little add-on from Just Flight. They're making some really nice little aircraft. They've really knocked the ball out of the park with Microsoft Flight Sim. Love the 146. We've been waiting a long time for this one. Very, very happy with it. We'll probably fly it again next stream, which will be some time away because I'm very busy this week. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, what I'll do is jump into the cockpit. There is a secure flow, but what I actually want to do is select ready for takeoff. The reason is I would like to do a replay, get the aircraft configured as it was for landing, and hopefully that won't cause any issues for us. Kind of a funky classic, looks cool. It is really cool. Paint kits should be hopefully available in the future.
Ready for takeoff selected.
It's very quiet for a ready for takeoff selected. I'm concerned when I... Right, let me go from here. If you can refresh your streams, if anyone can hear me, we'll do the replay. There you go. I don't know if anyone's here, but I'll start the replay and go from there. We back, yeah. It just seems to be cutting out for about 5 seconds there, but let's see if this works. So stop recording, replay. Alright. Lots of noises.
2500. Terrain ahead. Terrain.
Let's see if it'll work from there. Resume replay.
Terrain.
Get the gear down quickly, replay, and the flaps. No, I have to control all this for you automatically. There we are. Replay's working. There we go. It does take a long time, look, for all that to get down. Beautiful scenery here in Northern Ireland. Let's have a look at that landing from the outside then. Some great views here. I mean, that's the one we're going to have on the sign out. I do wish they had the X-Plane views with a threshold. I'll stick with this one here. You can sit up, it takes ages. Nearly over the threshold then. Hell, the BFC 111 was trash, said Jimmy. Oh dear. Brandon, what do we miss? Oh, lots. It was a great stream. Probably APU was not online after all. Probably. Yeah, no, it definitely was, because the light, the cockpit lighting comes on if you lose AC power. Right, let's have a look at that landing from here. Goes through red to that camera. So I did that for you for realism. A little firm, but not bad. Lift up, I think that's a replay thing. They definitely came up because we saw them. Unless I go in here and do it for you. There you go. Very cool. Oh, I have to control the engine. Yeah. Okay. Not very realistic. I'll do that again for you, having to control the engines manually. But not quite, Jimmy. Not quite. That's an awesome view. Right on the touchdown, so give me that. It was right on the aiming point. I love the little tyre screeches in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Very, very good. Very, very nice. Right, let's put you in this view here so you can enjoy an approach from the perspective of a passenger sat here right at the rear. And it would be making a heck of a noise, I should think, if you were positioned here in reality. Let's put you about there, which is around glide slope capture. Cool, so yeah, as I said a few minutes ago, massive thanks to Just Flight for sending me out there. Fokker F28 will be available for you to purchase on Wednesday. Super little add-on if you want to do some old school flying. It has a GPS available as well if you want to take it onto the VATSIM network and do some sort of modern navigation, but where's the fun in that? You want to have all the fun flying it in these sort of conditions. With raw data, but thank you very much for everyone that donated. Thank you to all the members for the continued support, and for all the regular viewers and subscribers. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the latest content. I am doing a full block of flying starting from tomorrow, so I do have some shorter days on earlies. If I'm feeling up for it, I'll stream after my duty a few more sectors in this excellent little add-on. Enjoy the rest of your day, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.